Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on your time zone. I am glad to see you guys are joining us again today. We have some news to go over, particularly, or more specifically, for this stream. We are talking about the Webtoon 2025 contest with Comic Legends. As you may already know, they did drop the shortlist, the announcement for who made the first cut for the Webtoon comic contest. And I am very excited for everybody that made the cut. We have a couple of Discord friends over in our little Webtoon Discord community who were on that list, and so we're going to spend some time cheering them on for the next couple of months while they continue forward in the contest. Artbreaker, hello, says working on a commission while watching, so comments may be scarce. That's okay. That's okay. Totally understand. Multitasking is, it's a good thing. We're able to listen and work at the same time. I know it is a work day. It is a weekday work day, so a lot of people are probably not able to check in maybe while we're live, but there's always the replay as well. Subsam Jam, hello. Might need to turn down the music a little. That is great to know. Thank you. Hopefully I didn't turn it down too much, but I did turn it down just now, so let me know if that works or if it's too much. Hello, Garnet Red. Welcome to the stream. We are just making some little tweaks to the audio before we get started. And hopefully that's okay. Music is good now, says Subsam Jam. Good, I'm so glad to hear it. Okay, perfect. So, I am going to touch on like 2 pointers maybe in this newsletter that they put out. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I know most of you have probably already seen it, but I did want to go over something very specific to those of us who did not make the cut for the Webtoon contest, because what a lot of us, about 3,500 of us are asking ourselves right now that the list is out and we weren't on it, what comes next? And I want to talk about that. First, we're going to start with what Webtoon themselves said comes next for the contestants who did not make the cut. So the newsletter is going to go over a lot of things, including who did make the cut. The shortlist was dropped yesterday. And the next deadline for those creators is going to be the 14th. But we're going to go ahead and scroll past all of this information because this is the part we want to talk about right now. We're going to talk about what happens if my series wasn't included in the shortlist. And first, we're going to start with what Webtoon has to say about that. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on that and my plan for myself moving forward. Wow, that music just got so loud again. Let's maybe skip this song because it looks like it's going to be a little loud, Okay, I dropped the audio down slightly just in case. What happens if my series wasn't included in the shortlist? Let's all wake up our brains because it is time to make new plans. We have been thrown a curveball and it is time to adjust accordingly. Okay, so what Webtoon has to say about this is you can continue publishing episodes and your series will continue to be on Webtoon Canvas. So that's first and foremost. Your series is not going to disappear. It's also not going to be locked. You are able to continue working on it. So you're not going to have to wait until the final winners are announced in September to keep posting. So definitely that is a good thing. Hello Dee, hello Kai-san, welcome both of you to the stream. Good to see you both here. We are making plans for our Webtoons going ahead. And what Webtoon says about that, besides the fact that yes, your stuff is unlocked, yes, you can continue to post, there's a little bit more. We're going to dive a little deeper into this. Planet Booktube, hello. Hey Perry, sorry to hear the news. I appreciate it. It is unfortunate, but it was a very, very slim chance to begin with. There were over 3,500 entries and only 40 of those made it to the next round. So it was a very, very slim margin. We all did our best. We did the best we could. But if you're like me and you believe in your series and you love your story, which I think all of you probably do. I think it's worth continuing or looking forward and seeing what continuing might look like for you. This is a really important piece, I think, right here. I can't like select it. I guess I can select it. I can make the whole thing blue. I think this was worth highlighting. That's why I brought this newsletter up in the first place. I believe this music is kind of crazy, is what I believe. What did I put on today? This playlist is wild. We're gonna jump forward a little bit. Okay. Best of luck, Subzam Jam. Subzam Jam, oh, that's right. To continue, I'm considering 3 updates a month, once on the 10th, 20th, and 30th, and we'll update between 10 and 20 panels. See, that is a great plan. You are already on a roll, and I appreciate that. I think that that's amazing that you already have your feet firmly planted, your mind is set, and you have a strategy. And I love that, and I want that for everybody moving forward. So hopefully we can get our heads on straight in this stream, if not already. Hello, Bingo Ned, and move forward. I'm going to wrap up this quick review of the newsletter just because I wanted to highlight this part here, and then we're going to switch screens for a second. But what I did want to note here is this remark that they made. Webtoon creators that have taken part in past Webtoon contests and didn't win still went on to be greenlit as Webtoon original series. And I know Pantheon Talks has mentioned this so many times during the entire evolution of the contest while he was making content around this and reviewing past contests and contestants who maybe weren't selected but still got picked up, still got offered, or who weren't able to monetize their Canvas series and cultivated fandoms dedicated to their characters and stories. So don't give up, your creator journey isn't over. What I want to mention about this is this part right here where it says some contestants still went on to be greenlit as Webtoon original series. I do not want to set unrealistic expectations for anyone, not even myself. However, I do want to acknowledge that this is not a one-off. This has happened a couple of times where people who have entered in the past but weren't picked up for, or who weren't able to continue in the contest because they weren't selected, were still offered, which means that there might be series in this contest right now that were not selected for the shortlist that Webtoon is still keeping tabs on. It might be yours. They might still be looking, might still be looking at your series to see what you do next. And I think part of the Webtoon criteria that maybe is like the silent criteria, the criteria they don't talk about in writing, is evaluating you as a creative. And what I mean by this, I think that I had something working against me this whole time, that as a pre-existing pre-existing Webtoon creator, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I mean. I'm gonna hop over here to Webtoon. I have another series. They are able to look at my track record as a creator, to look at my other series and be like, well, she doesn't have the greatest track record for making updates on time. I have taken several hiatuses during my venerable web series creation, and you can kind of see exactly where they were because the fall off, like between how many like followers and readers and likes I was getting, like we're up here, we're in like the 150s. Right here, you can kind of see it. I was at 131 in 2019. My last post in 2019 was this collab I did. I promise this is gonna make sense. This is going somewhere. I promise you this is going to be relevant. I made this last post in December of 2019. It was a collaboration with other Canvas creators, and we did a New Year's countdown. And then if you move forward from there, you'll see that I didn't post again until 2021. So I skipped all of 2020. I'm sure you guys can guess why. We had an entire worldwide pandemic during 2020. I lost my job. People were getting sick. People were struggling with work. Everybody was sent home from work. Like all essential workers or non-essential workers were like sent home. It was a whole thing. And so I literally like disappeared for all of 2020. And now look at this. I came back for one episode in 2021. I had 84 likes. So I went from like 200-ish readers maybe on an episode to maybe 100 here. And then I again skipped 2022 and came back in 2023. And that's because I was literally moving across country. And if you follow my YouTube channel prior to this, you'll know that like I've documented the whole thing. I went from living in Washington, D.C. to now living in Los Angeles. So I've had a lot of really big life events happen that have really interrupted my ability to make my webtoon. And then I got more consistent again in 2023. As you can see here, like I really was staying on top of it in 2023. I was posting 2 episodes a month because I was doing bi-weekly, and Bingo Ned would know. Bingo Ned's in the chat. Bingo Ned is the colorist on this comic. The entire reason why I bring this up in regards to the actual contest itself is because they have not like said that they're evaluating you outside of the content of your comic, but I do think they do. I feel like if they're considering hiring you, onboarding you as an original creator, they're going to want to know that you're going to be reliable. And so I think part of that elimination process when they're considering comics that maybe they're interested in, but then maybe just didn't make the cut, they're comparing you to another creator, it might be something like that. Maybe you have a track record that looks a little bit like mine. And yeah, Subsim Jim says consistency is a true challenge. I agree. Let me, I think I can put chat up here so we can get the chat in the window as well. Sorry, the announcement was not today, so I'm gonna just scroll up and put this banner on the screen instead. Consistency is a true challenge, and it's something that is extremely important to Webtoon Originals creators. It's extremely important to Webtoon, the company, that their original creators are capable of consistency. And so for something like this, tying both my history as a creator and my inconsistency as a creator from all of those various hiatuses to my contest entry today, and what they said in this newsletter about they're still keeping an eye on certain creators, that they're maybe interested in your story but you didn't make the shortlist, to see what you do next. The best thing I can do for myself in this situation, I have no idea. I have no idea if they're actually considering my series. I really don't. And I'll never know unless I get like an offer down the road somewhere. But what I can try to do is deliver more episodes and do it in a way that is consistent. And so moving forward, despite not getting shortlisted, if I can show the Webtoon professionals that I can be a professional, that I can move forward and deliver consistently, and I can maintain the quality of work, then I'm bettering my chances in the future of being selected as a Webtoon creator. I hope that makes sense. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Astry House, hello, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you all for the likes that have already liked the stream. You guys are amazing. I know it's a weird time to be streaming. We're streaming on, what is it, Tuesday? On a Tuesday at 10 o'clock my time. What time is it where you're at? What time zone are you guys in? Is it 10 o'clock where you are? Are you on the West Coast with me? Or are you looking more at like 1 p.m. on the East Coast? Or are you not even in the US? Maybe you're not in the US. Let me know what time it is for you so I can kind of understand if this is a good time for me to be live streaming for you guys, and maybe I can adjust future live streams to address that. Okay, so Kai-san the artist is looking at maybe uploading 2 to 3 episodes every month. So you're kind of like on that same wavelength as Subsam Jam with their plan to do the 10th, 20th, and 30th. That's like one every 10 days. One episode every 10 days is a really great way to see what you're capable of and to test your ability to kind of meet that Webtoon original standard. I know they do it once a week, so it's technically every 7 days instead of 10, but I think 10 is a nice round number. I think that that would be a good goal to set and see if you feel prepared for that kind of schedule. The only challenge I could really see happening with, and I'm going to back up here because I actually have spent all this time looking at my older comic, but let's go ahead and look at my contest entry comic instead, since this is supposed to be about the contest. Garnet Red says, I'm wanting to upload every 2 weeks. I like my 2-week schedule. The one thing I was going to say a second ago before I switched screens is that something every one of us needs to consider when we are not picked up as a Webtoon original is how realistic, how reasonable is it to try and mimic a Webtoon original schedule when you are not a full-time Webtoon original creator. And that is always going to be kind of the challenge when you're trying to demonstrate your abilities as a creator. When you have other obligations, you're not a full-time paid creator for Webtoon yet. Unless somebody in the chat is, I don't know, maybe you are. 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and pin a comment because I tend to forget to do this ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to my comic because, you know, a little shameless self-plugs are a little necessary here and there. It's so hard to market, you guys. You know this. You know how hard marketing is. Sub-Syndrome says it's like 1 panel a day minimum if you update every 10 days, theoretically. So 1 panel minimum, that's like... I'm not going to count the day you post it, right? Because you have to consider you're not working that day other than formatting and posting, right? So let's say 9. Then if you do 1 panel a day, that's 9 panels. That's still an incredibly short episode unless you're doing maybe a comedy or a slice of life, which then it might be a little bit more realistic to do like 9 panels a chapter. Pocolete says, I'm a part-time YouTube watcher. I love that. Right now, I'm kind of a full-time YouTube watcher because I do not have a job. Actually, I need to be like a full-time job hunter. So that's going to be my job for the next however long it takes. Keisan, don't apologize for being your own biggest fan. I like that. I think that that's great advice, and I think everybody should take that advice to heart. Always feel encouraged and empowered to be your own biggest fan. Just like I said to, look at this, look at this. You see all these filled in hearts on my own Webtoon? Because I liked my own chapters. Everybody who creates a Webtoon should be liking their own chapters. That's my personal opinion, and I stand firm on that. It always makes me super sad to read a comic, like to open up a chapter of a comic and see 0 hearts. Like, how is the creator not even liking their own comic? Always feel bold, always feel brave, always feel ready to like your own work. You did it, you did the work, you should be proud of it, you posting it, you might as well like it. You know, it's kind of like, I was saying this before when it comes to your creator page. I will do a reaction, like one of these hearts is me. I will do a reaction on my own creator pages just to kind of like set the tone. Just to set the tone so that when somebody else comes in, maybe they don't know. Oh, I don't know. Like maybe I have a funny one. Do I have any funny ones? I don't know. Like just to set the tone, you can be like, oh, this is a shocking statement. Maybe I made a shocking statement. And so like I'll go ahead and use this emoji, the like shock face one, right? Just to show people that to set the tone, to be like, I'm not going to be offended if you use this emoji to show like you're shocked or you're stunned or anything. I'm not going to take it the wrong way. So just kind of like, I'm encouraging you all to support your own work, to react to your own content, to like your own stuff. I like my own YouTube videos. There should at least always be 1 like on all of my YouTube videos because I will like my own videos. And I 100% back up what Kai-san said. Just be your own biggest fan. Be the first one in line, you know? Be the first fan of your work. And then you can kind of like set the tone for everybody else. Ashtray House says, I highly recommend a 2-week schedule. When I uploaded every 2 weeks, I had good growth, canvas features, etc. When I stopped doing this consistently, growth stagnated. I agree with that. I agree, and actually, I can validate that too. Look, if we scroll past the contest stuff for a second, like what was I doing before the contest? My other series. And I was explaining to you guys how in 2023 at least, was it 2023 or was it 2024? In the previous year of my Webtoon Venerable, hang on, still getting past contest stuff. Okay. I was uploading consistently. I was doing every 2 weeks. I had help. I had my colorist, Bingo Ned, helping me stay on top of my timeline. And because of that, it's in here, I promise you. I do use my creator page, by the way, so if you guys want to follow my creator page, you will get content because I put stuff on here. So you can see here, hiatus is over, I'll be back, and I've got like Marty, my leading lady from my Webtoon Venerable, about an old lady protagonist who becomes the hero and saves the Magic Kingdom. We're gonna skip that, that's something else. Here's what I was getting at, okay? My gosh, I don't know why it's so big, but like, here in 2024, this was after I had gotten Bingo Ned to join my team, and we started pumping out chapters every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks on time. Did not miss a date, right? And if I did, it was like because of a holiday or something, and I would post a holiday post to my creator page, just to let people know. I got picked up, I got put on the front page as a staff pick, and it really helped out a lot because, like I had mentioned before, my 2019, a lot of my growth was in 2019 when I first started the Webtoon. A lot of my subs are dead subs, to be honest, from that time, from pre-COVID, and they don't read anymore. So then when I started pumping out content consistently every 2 weeks, like Ash Tree said, Webtoon staff put me on staff picks, and that helped me gain new live subs, which was really helpful because then I would start getting like actual comments and actual likes on my chapters and stuff like that, which is very gratifying. Like, you want that as a creator, you want to have that feedback. So we had that, and then we had another one. So it wasn't just that. Here's another one. This was September of 2023. So like, I'd been keeping it up for a while, doing the 2-week thing, and they had also picked me as a hidden gem. So I was put here on hidden gems, and again, that helped. It was like late 2023 in September. It helped boost me again. So it does help. Like, if they see that you're being consistent, like Ash Tree said, every 2 weeks, you, I guess, are eligible for these spotlights to end up on hidden gems, to end up on staff picks, and maybe rising stars or something like that. So you just want to be consistent. 2 weeks seems to be the sweet spot for Canvas creators in order to make it. But I've seen people who will update like once a month, even make it to the front page under the Canvas spotlights. Like I saw, I think it was called like Blackburn, something with an orange cat and a little black-haired boy and a little girl. Man, that's like not much to go off of. But anyway, like I was following them, but they were very, very, very long and few between chapter uploads. But then I saw them consistently hitting the front page. So you just gotta, whatever your timeline looks like, if you can do it consistently, then they will trust you to keep doing it consistently, and then will give you that extra attention. Hello, Cam. Welcome to the stream. It's so good to see you. I'm glad you made it. Ashtray says, mine are all dead subs. Ha ha ha. I feel that. Yeah, it's kind of funny sometimes to like be like, you're a creator who has what looks like a really good following, only to see that like the engagement maybe isn't there. And that's because, and this goes for any platform, you might end up with a lot of dead subs if you've been doing it for a while. That's what happened to my Webtoon. Sounds like that's what happened to Ashtray House's Webtoon. You're probably talking about your other Webtoon, right? Like if I go, Ashtray House, this should take me to you. Oh, it didn't work. It didn't work. Maybe because I did like, it's like a U. I don't know. Let's go back. I can get there. I know how to get there. We're just gonna look up Rain Girl, because I think you're talking about Rain Girl, right? Yes, 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 Rain Girl. And I spelled it as one word. We need to make it 2 words. Here it is. So Rain Girl has 13,000 subs. But Ashtray House is saying like there's a lot of these are dead subs, and you can see over here that on the most recent chapter upload they were getting about 300 plus likes, and that seems to be pretty consistent. Here we are getting 400 plus in January and February. May kind of like dipped a little bit, and a lot of us will see that over time. I'm not really sure what the solution is to combat that, other than just constantly marketing to try to bring in fresh subs. But that's a lot of work, and I think that's something that I'm going to study a little bit more this year, and then possibly start making content to share what I learn with everybody here on YouTube. Ashtray House, 13,000, right? Yeah, there you go. 14,000 engagements, like 300 likes. Hey, that's basically 14,000. You are way over the rounding up mark, my friend. Like 13.5 gets rounded up and you're at 13.7. So yeah, 14's accurate. I am not, you don't need to correct that. That is still accurate, okay? But yeah, like 300 likes. And so you kind of notice that as a creator over time if you've been working on the same piece for a while. So let's see, this was an update in June of 25. If we go back to the beginning, you started in 2021. So this has been going on for like 4+ years, June to June. That's pretty solid. A pretty solid 4 years, right? So after 4 years, you might not be able to some readers don't stick around. Like, I mean on the platform entirely. Some readers just do not keep Webtoon for 4 years straight. So you may not maintain readers just because they deleted the Webtoon app. So their profile still exists, so they'll still show up as a sub, but they may not be here anymore. There's nothing we can do about that. The best thing we can do is not take it personally. Ashley says, I don't really care about subs, to be honest. I'd rather have my sub count reflect my readers, but whatever. Yeah, I know. I feel that, because when I look at, like, if my hearts are low, but then it says I have, like, I'm sitting at, like, gosh, I think it's... I haven't hit 1,000, but I'm getting close. I'm at 925 subs, right? But look at this. 11, 22, 26, 28. My hearts are so low, it's embarrassing compared to this number. If this number was smaller, if this reflected my live subs and not my dead subs, and it made this make sense, then I would feel a little better. But it looks kind of funny sometimes. You can't help it though. You really can't. And that goes for my YouTube, ironically. Like, I could show you guys. Let's go to my YouTube page. Let me go to my channel. Okay. Alright, so right here, same story. 2,760 subs, right? But let's take a look at my views. 400 views, 93 views on the Inktober. Inktober is just not popping anymore. I tried. It just doesn't, it's not pulling views like it used to. Here we have an art fight video from last year, 300. Another art fight, 2,000. I mean, my art fight videos tend to do pretty good. But overall, my regular videos, we're looking at like 200, 300 views each. And that's 200, 300 views, like a good video hitting 300 views out of almost 3,000 subs isn't a great number. And I can tell you right now, a lot of these are dead subs because the vast majority of my subscriptions, if you go to popular, come from these Autodesk sketchbook tutorials. You can see here, like I'm over 100,000 views on this iPad tutorial. 41,000 for the desktop version, 30,000 views for the Windows Surface Pro version. That's where most of my subs come from, these tutorials on how to use this one drawing software, and most of them do not watch the rest of my videos, so I consider those dead subs. We got a little bit off topic. We can go back to talking about like your comic and how to move forward now that you're no longer constrained by, yeah, this is a good way to look at it. Let's put a positive spin on it. You're no longer constrained by the Webtoon contest rules and deadlines. You are now on your time, and that is something to be celebrated. And I think what we need to consider, well, there are a couple of things to consider. And the first one, for a lot of people, because I've been paying attention to the chatter, y'all. I've been listening to the commenters in other live streams while floating around YouTube looking at Webtoon contest related stuff. And the first thing a lot of people are talking about is whether or not to even continue a vertical scroll format for their comic. I've been hearing more and more people moving toward traditional page layouts in recent years than I did when I first joined Webtoon back in the COVID era. And I'm starting to consider it myself too. Like, I don't want to get so deep into my comic that the idea of retemplating all of this for print becomes a Mount Everest. So one of the things I'm considering right now that maybe you've thought about as well is whether or not to take a beat and convert your chapters into a page printed format. Let me know. Like, leave a comment on this video if you're watching the replay. Leave a comment in chat if you're here now. Let me know if that's something that you've thought about. If you're thinking about it right now for the first time, what you think about that, whether you're considering it or if it's just not something you think you'll ever use. I know I like to print everything. I am such a hard copy person. I want to be able to hold on to whatever it is. I want to know I have it at home and it can never be taken away. And I've talked about this when we've talked about like the issues with our current culture in society, our technology culture, where everything is subscription based, where you're basically renting in perpetuity forever. You own nothing. I don't like that. And so I personally like to have copies of everything if I can. Artbreaker says, I'm not making a webtoon myself, but I personally find the page format a lot more pleasing as a viewer. Yeah. You are technically, Artbreaker. Let's pump the brakes for a second. I've talked about BingoNet in chat being my colorist on my older webtoon Venerable, but let's not forget, Artbreaker here did all of these colors on this. Look at this. All of these colors here on Love Cursed Queen of Rogues were all done by Artbreaker. You're not off the hook. You're not off the hook, Artbreaker. I don't know what our schedule's gonna be. That's something I'm gonna have to talk with you about, like one-on-one off stream in the Discord DMs. So we can figure out like what works for both of us moving forward so that we can continue making the comic. And if you're even interested, no pressure to say anything right now, like in the chat, we can talk about this. But I know you and I are both big time art fight players as well. And that was something I also wanted to mention to everybody right now that has a webtoon, whether they're moving on in the contest or not. Have you considered that the next thing that you do with your webtoon is actually art fight? Hello, KK. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Always a pleasure to have you here, my friend. Because I know for me, I'm definitely going to be playing art fight, and including, you can see this top row, are all of my Love Cursed Queen of Rogues characters. I literally just finished uploading them last night, I think. So yeah, Love Cursed Queen of Rogues is all here. And the reason why I really highly suggest that if you have a webcomic, a webtoon, that you do take the time to join Artfight and submit your characters is because Artfight is an art gifting game. You get points for your team by drawing gift art of somebody else's character. And I know in the past, I have gotten a ton of gift art, not for this guy, but the second row, I forgot to mention, the second row is my other webtoon, okay? So top row, new webtoon, bottom row, old webtoon. And I have gotten so much gift art of these guys that I have been able to share and promote. So you can see here, I've got like these, some of them aren't loading, but I've got these old drawings of my MC Marty. Oh, please load. I know it's got this big red banner here letting us know that like they're having issues with loading. But I have taken this stuff, okay, the gift art that I've gotten for my webtoon, and I have included it. Sometimes I include it as, we're gonna scroll through here for a second. We've got like to the bottom. I'm not gonna give you like spoilers or whatever. Oh, of course I picked one. Didn't have one at the bottom. But if we scroll through here, right, we've got Dottie in the cave facing her daymare with the dragon. Okay. If we go all the way to the bottom, it's a long chapter, sorry. Featured fan art. This came from Artfight. This is an Artfight drawing, and so I like to feature throughout the year as I continue making chapters. I'll add one piece of fan art or gift art, and you can see right here I credit it. You can see the name of the artist at the bottom, their website, their Artfight page. And it provides support for them. I let them know I'm going to include it, so they want to go see their art included on the webtoon, so they'll go check it out, they'll read the webtoon, or they'll at least read that chapter where their art is included. So it works you're promoting their art, you're also promoting your webtoon. This is a good way to bring in fresh eyes to your webtoon without having to make a bunch of TikTok videos, which I got so tired of doing, you guys. I don't know about you, but I became exhausted with making TikTok videos. So this is definitely my preferred method. I would rather do an art trade, and like I draw them back. So I drew art in return. Like they drew me that gift art of my webcomic character, and I drew this back of their character. So it's a really great exercise that has multiple benefits. Like you get to practice and improve as an artist. You get to advertise your webtoon. You get free webtoon fan art. So highly, highly recommend, if you haven't already, joined ArtFight. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this link for you. And I'm also going to let you know I have an insane amount of ArtFight content on my profile, on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in joining but you don't know anything about ArtFight, check out my ArtFight playlist. It's right on the front of my channel in the playlist section. So if like we go here, my channel, right, the homepage, front of my channel, you go right down here, top playlist, ArtFight Help, right here, the one with my face, like right there. You can go view full playlist, and the tutorial is right on the tippy top. This will teach you everything you need to know. And then I go into the weeds with more details about other stuff that you can do with ArtFight. But that is definitely one of my suggestions for how to move forward with your webtoon entry, is to start cross-promoting. And doing that through ArtFight is a really fun, organic way to do it that doesn't involve just burning yourself out on social media. I feel a little burnout on social media. I'm sure you guys could tell I slowed down my momentum on posting TikTok videos. I slowed down my momentum on posting YouTube shorts to promote my channel. I just got really tired of creating these little videos. And I'm gonna work on my strategy a little bit more. I'm definitely gonna make a video about that in the future once I've really done my postmortem and I've reviewed the analytics and I come up with a better strategy, and I'm gonna share that with you guys. So do stay tuned for that, because it is gonna come through. There's two main things I do here on this channel. It's ArtFight and it's Webtoon. So these are the two things that we are going to talk about a lot in the future. So I do hope you will stick around, subscribe, and all of that jazz, so we can continue talking about these two beautiful things. Now back to Webtoon, and I'm going to go back to my dashboard, because now I have a problem that I know a lot of you guys also have, and that is having more than one webcomic now. Like if you did like I did, and you entered the contest with a brand new IP, you didn't just revamp. I don't want to say just, because a lot of effort went into the people who reused an existing comic, because they did a lot of revamping, re-illustrating, reformatting their comics to make them the best they could. So I'm not going to downplay that, but if you did what I did, where you created a brand new comic, you did not reuse an existing IP, you created new IP, you now have 2 IP. If not more. If you're Poyo, you have more. But now you have 2 IP, and the question becomes, how do I move forward with 2 comics? Am I going to, I'm going to use letters. A, do I drop a comic and only move forward with my favorite one or my most popular one, however you want to prioritize that? B, do I make a schedule where I'm working on both at the same time around my other obligations and responsibilities? If you're a student, if you have a job, if you have a family that you got to take care of, if you have a house that you have to clean, you've got other things that need your time and attention. So how are you going to fit 2 comics around that? Or alternatively, if you're just going to take a break entirely from all of it and come back to it when you feel the motivation and the inspo to do it again. So it's a lot to consider. I stand by what we were talking about earlier with Ash Tree House. I think that the best schedule for me has always been alternating 2 weeks for my comic uploads, and that's with having a day job, and so I know that even doing a comic every 2 weeks is exhausting for me, and it takes up almost all of my free time. I don't think I can do it any faster than that. I know that we had like 2 people in the chat way earlier today talking about doing 3 chapters a month, which means every 10 days uploading a new chapter. And so instead of a 14-day, a 2-week rotation, you're looking at a 10-day rotation. That's going to be even harder if you have a full-time obligation, whether that be school or work. Cam says, do you have any tips for starting a comic for the very first time? I do. I have a very thorough, no, stop, go back. Oh, art fight prepping, that's fun that she's doing art fight prepping. I really like Phoenix Mast. If you haven't checked her out and you like art fight, check out her channel. She does good stuff. But let's take a look real quick at my videos, because you asked a question that I have already created a video to answer that exact question. And I do want to make sure, here it is. So we're gonna share this link, okay? And it's the one that says My Webtoon Process Explained. I was so thorough in this. So, thorough starter's guide. I was so thorough in this video. It is only 18 minutes long, so I say a lot. You might have to hit pause and take notes on occasion because I'm like talking kind of quickly. It's only 18 minutes long, but I cover so much ground from getting the idea till you get all the way to hitting publish. So every step of the process is included in this video. I include resources, I include how to do an outline, how to plan a chapter, what are the beats that you need for every chapter, how to pick your art style based on the amount of time you have available to work on each chapter. It's super thorough. Astrid House says, I have nothing but respect for people who upload more than 1 to 2 times a month, but I just refuse. I have other hobbies and a social life, and I need balance or I'll burn out. I agree with that. It seems kind of like a miracle that people can upload more than that. Even weekly, that's kind of mind-blowing to me. I feel like I would have to simplify so much to be able to upload weekly. In fact, when I started Venerable, and I'm going to take you right back to the beginning, because in the very beginning, there was no light, and then there was, no, I'm just kidding. In the very beginning, well, I did do a buffer, and I uploaded the first 3 chapters all together, because they do teach you to do that. They recommend it, at least. But then I go from August 25th to September 2nd, September 2nd to 9th, 9th to 16th, 16th to 23rd. So as you can see, I was doing 1 a week, every single week. And I had the most insane schedule because I had a 5-hour daily commute for my job. I was working an 8-hour day at work. So that's 5 and 8. What is that? That's 13 hours a day. I had a 13-hour day that I could not carve into. And then when I got home, I still had to take care of my laundry, my dishes. I had to eat, I had to cook and eat. I had to shower. I was busy. And the only reason why I was able to submit these every single week is because I didn't do any work during the week. I only did work on Saturday and Sunday, and it was literally every Saturday and Sunday nonstop. I had no life. I worked all week long, and then Saturday and Sunday, I just made a comic, and I made a chapter in 2 days every week. And then I would post on Monday. And when I say that, I want to show you the kind of like what these chapters look like, okay? So the colors are pretty flat. Like, as you can see, the backgrounds are pretty simple, but the style is very sketchy. And that was part of my strategy for this, is to make sure that I wasn't being precious about my line art. So I picked I was using Krita, and I used their like really inky pen brushes to do this very scratchy, very sketchy looking art style, because I really just did not have the time to be picky about my line art. I did not have the time. And you notice I'm also doing a lot of talking heads here. Like, we had an establishing shot of the outside of the building and then the inside of the lobby, and then it's just back and forth talking heads, and then down here we come back to the little, like, hallway lobby space for a full body shot. And that's the whole episode. So it's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 panels. Only 11 panels in 2 days. And that was pretty consistent for the first year. I did that every week for the first year. I had no life. If you have to choose between making a deadline, a webtoon, a self-imposed webtoon deadline, and joining your family or friends on an outing or on a holiday, or, you know, like maybe they want to do, like, 4th of July is coming up and they want to do a cookout. They want to, like, just have a backyard barbecue. Don't skip it just because it's in the backyard and stay in your room and draw all day. Go out, be a part of that, and be a day late posting your chapter. I know we started this stream talking about how important consistency is, and it is important, but it is not life or death, and it is not, if you were like a day late or 2 days late on a deadline you gave yourself because you had to go live your life, just say that in the comments. Like, leave it like, sorry, I apologize for being a couple days late. My cousin got married. It was a beautiful wedding. I'm so glad I went, and I really appreciate your guys' patience with me getting the chapter out late. That's all you gotta do to, like, explain and justify the delay. And it's perfectly professional, and nobody's paying you, right? Like, let's remember that part too. As of right now, nobody is paying you to do this, so do not let it get in between you and your relationships. I almost made that mistake, and it could have cost me dearly, being so obsessed with not being late for something like this, for a little personal project and also, like I said, 13-hour work days were, like, just not helping my home life at all either. It was rough. For a while, it was rough. So for sure, I agree with Ash Tree House. You know, don't create such a tight turnaround time for your chapters that you do not leave space to live your life, to be a functioning human being, to engage in a social life, to be a member of your an active member of your family, an active member of your friend group. Enjoy your other hobbies and passions. So when you're building your schedule, whatever that might be, make sure you leave space for all of those things. And make sure you leave space for all of those things every single time. Like, don't create such a tight belt around yourself that you can't have dessert, if that makes sense. All right, I hope that little ramble was helpful. I feel like I did a little bit of, like, personal, I feel a little raw, like I exposed myself a little bit there. But, you know, it's a cautionary tale. Thankfully, everything worked out. I'm fine. My family is fine. My relationship is fine. But I just want you guys to be happy, proud of your work, but also, like, healthy and happy, and making realistic goals for yourselves. Kai-san says, what's a social life? LOL. And Astri says, so many new creators are young too, and it saddens me they miss out on the youth and social life. You were only in your 20s once. Yeah, that's accurate. That's true and accurate as well. Also, there's, like, how many creators on Webtoon? Like, I really want to know. Let's do a quick search. Let's figure this out. Let's see how many creators are on Webtoon. What the frick? I did not want to search that first thing that popped up. Approximately 24 million creators. 24 million. The chance of any single individual of those 24 million getting noticed by Webtoon staff, and furthermore, like, getting noticed by Webtoon staff is one thing, and ending up, like, on Hidden Gems, staff picks, Rising Stars, all of that stuff, all the, like, canvas spotlights, that in itself is already a huge win. But then an even smaller fraction, an even more decimal fraction of these 24 million creators are offered an opportunity to pitch their series and get picked up as a Webtoon original. So be realistic with your goal setting. Like I said, I don't want to discourage anybody, but I don't want to set unrealistic expectations either. When you are making your plans moving forward for your series, whether you're going to do an upload every 2 weeks, or if you're going to do a once a month schedule, which I might have to do if I plan on keeping both comics going. So we'll see how that turns out. I will let you guys know as soon as I know. But whatever your plan is, like, do not kill yourself trying to get Webtoon's attention. There are 24 million creators, and Webtoon is not going to be able to support them all with a spotlight or with an offer. It's just very unrealistic. And you should not be sacrificing your happiness, your health, your life lived experiences with family and friends. And you should not be sacrificing your sleep, you know, like to make sure you're hitting that once a week 40 panel deadline that an original creator is doing. In fact, I highly recommend nobody tries to do that, because you are not a full-time creator. The day that they hire you to be a full-time creator is the day you can start crunching and hitting 40 panels a week. But until then, they don't own your time. That's my 2 cents on that. And I recommend that if you're going to continue your series, which I truly hope you do. I really hope everybody here continues their series. I hope you will do it at a pace that is realistic for your lifestyle and your other obligations, so that you can consistently create at whatever the pace might be, consistently create at that pace. If it's a reasonable pace, it's more probable that you can do it, right? Like if you set yourself a breakneck sprinting pace, thinking you're going to be able to keep up with a Webtoon original and pump out a chapter every week, and it's going to be fully colored and fully rendered and all of that stuff, you're going to burn out. Like Ashtree said, you're most likely to burn out and to never finish your Webtoon at all, which I've seen happen to some creators too. They pushed themselves so hard that they ended up hating what they were doing and dropped the series entirely. And we don't want to see that either. We want you to love your story. We want you to finish your story. And we want you to do it in a healthy way. All right, so I just want to recap to make sure I hit all of my points that we were going to talk about today. We were talking about formatting. If you're moving forward, have you decided if you want to continue moving forward in vertical scroll? Do you want to maybe transition into page layouts, or continue in vertical scroll, but also at the same time be formatting pages for every chapter, so that when you get to the end of your story, you have something ready to print, which is something that's on my wish list. That's like a dream for me. I want both, because of course I want both. I don't know if I have time for both, but that's like definitely up there on my stretch goals, if that makes sense. So we talked about formatting. We talked about marketing to reach new readers. Now that now that we're knocked out of the contest, right? We've all been kind of disqualified. We've all been, what was the word I used for the live stream thumbnail? I don't remember. Defeated. We were all defeated. So what can we do now? If we can't advertise that we're in the contest, we can advertise on Artfight. We don't have to continue pounding the pavement on social media. It's recommended that you continue doing that if you want to reach readers on social, but if you want to reach readers who are already consumers of art content, highly recommend trying Artfight. And I just want to let you guys know that on July 1st, I will be live streaming my Artfight attacks, and my bookmarks right now, my goal right now for my first day is to attack other Webtoon creators. So if you are on Artfight and you are a Webtoon creator and your Webtoon characters are on your Artfight profile, I want to see your Artfight profile link in my Discord, because I am following other creators on Artfight and I am bookmarking their characters, their comic characters, to draw as my first. I usually do first 48 to 72 hours. I will only hit my bookmarks, because everything after that becomes a revenge. It happens every year where I am just on the defensive and drawing attacks back to people who already drew me first. So yeah, that's my goal. I recommend if you're a Webtoon creator, get in on it. Don't miss out. ArtFight's amazing. Also, we were talking about 24 million users on Webtoon, but let's look at the I know it's in the millions. How many ArtFight users are there? All right, so we're looking at, so just last year, 425,000 active players. 425,000 plus active players just in 2024 on ArtFight. Overall, the platform has over 1 million registered users. So there's 24 million Webtoon creators. There are over 1 million registered players on ArtFight. Let's cross-pollinate here. Like, these are art consumers. The ArtFight players are consumers of art content. They love to look at art. They love to draw art. They love to draw fan art. That's what ArtFight is. So if you're interested in pulling from that audience, that is the right niche that you should be promoting to. So highly recommend that you get in on it. That's just my 2 cents. So we talked about that. So formatting, ArtFight marketing. We talked about pacing. That was the other major thing that we need to talk about today is pacing, and we looked at a couple different intervals. We looked at every 10 days, we looked at obviously the weekly, we looked at every 2 weeks, and even 1 month schedules. We're pumping out a chapter a month and people can look forward to. If you wanted to do on the last day of every month, that's when my chapter drops, people will know to look for it. On the first day of every month, that's when my chapter drops, people will know to look for it because it's the first of the month. You can hit those really visible dates, because people are oh, I can't believe it's already May, and so it's the first of the month is a great, very visible date that if you train your readers to expect a chapter from you on the first of every month, then that's a great way to do a 1 month schedule, a 1 month or 1 chapter a month schedule. Just saying. Kai-san says, I am working on my ArtFight page this week. That is fire. I'm glad to hear it. Definitely get those set up. Ash Treehouse, you could do both at SubSamJam. I see people making it page first, then grab the panels and arrange them vertically. I've seen that too. It seems to be that pages first is easier to translate into vertical than the other way around. But I'm obviously, since I already have 3 chapters that are vertical, I'm going to have to do it that way, at least for the first couple chapters, and then maybe flip it going forward. If I commit to that style, which I don't know, we'll see if I commit to the page layout. It's a lot of work though. SubSamJam says, I feel like Webtoon readers respond better to vertical scroll. They do. Absolutely do. If you're going to be using the platform, you want to use vertical scroll. But if you want to print, whether it's in what do you call the comics when you get they're not you can do a full book, right? The way Webtoons prints their full books, or the old school way where they used to do I can't remember the word for it, but it would be 15-ish, 16-ish pages maybe per print. You could do the thinner prints, the shorter prints, and do them in not seasons. What am I looking for? It's well, I hope you guys understand. I'm not gonna waste our time me trying to remember a word I can't remember. Some people don't burn out, but they are superhuman. Yeah, that's why I tried to not use absolutes. I tried to correct myself and be most people will burn out, or most people will this, instead of just saying you will get burnout. I try not to use absolutes. Sometimes I make that mistake. Pokelatte, I was taught second place just means I'm the first loser. No, Pokelatte, that's not how we do it here. Artbooker, I tend to stick to one-off illustrations, so it's awe-inspiring to see the Webtoon creation process. I admire anyone who has motivation to create a story and can make a whole comic on a schedule like that. Agreed. Ashtree, so many new creators are too young. All right, I'm all caught up on comments. I think that we hit all of the points that I wanted to hit today. I think we're gonna do a little bit of ArtFight between well, the next stream at the very least is going to be art fight related. And then we're going to come back, we're going to swing back through with more Webtoon content in the future once I do, like I said, my post-op and my analysis of marketing and what I learned from that. So we're going to have that video. We're going to have like a post-mortem marketing video on Webtoon marketing. Look forward to that one. We're going to have more Webtoon videos in the future after that, but just know, if you're following me on YouTube, it's going to be interspersed. You're going to see art fight, and you're going to see Webtoon. Please don't leave just because maybe you only want one or the other. They're both going to keep circulating, so stay tuned. Astray House, issues? I hope not. Are we like experiencing a lag or something? Hopefully there's no issues. Once again, thank you guys so much for the likes on this stream. I appreciate all of your guys' support. I hope that you have a lot of fun and a lot of positivity moving forward with your comics. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. And you can also message me on Discord if you maybe don't want to leave a comment on YouTube, but you feel more comfortable on Discord. I am an open book. I'm happy to talk to you guys anytime. And I really hope to see you on Art Fight and in future videos. So that's literally all I have for today, and I hope you guys are going to have a great rest of your day and your week moving forward. Definitely share with us what your plans are for your comics, and always remember to include the name of your comic. Always include the name of your comic so that we can find and read it. Thank you guys again. I will see you next time. Bye!